Hello dear students, welcome to online class of St. Joseph's Academy, Mariam Nagar, Ghaziabad. Today our video lesson is for class 5th, subject science. Topic is pollination, part 3. So let's start. Let's take a quick recall first of what we studied in our previous video. So we studied that flower is the most beautiful part of the plant. A flower has 4 whorls: sepals, petals, endoecium and gynoecium. The endoecium is the male part of the flower and it consists of the filament and antherlopes with pollen grains. The gynoecium is a female part of the flower and consists of the stigma, style and ovary. So students, now let's study about bisexual flower. So what are bisexual flowers? The flowers which contain both male and female reproductive parts are called bisexual flowers. If any flower is having both male and female reproductive part, so that flower will be called as bisexual flower. So we all know what are the male and female reproductive parts of the flower. So they have both pistil as well as stamen. That is why they are also called complete flowers. Okay. And what are the example of bisexual flowers? China rose, gulmohar, mustard. So these are some examples of bisexual flowers. Next is unisexual flowers. So unisexual flowers are those flowers which have either male or female reproductive part. Okay, the flowers which have either male or female reproductive part are called unisexual flower. So either they will have pistil or stamen, not both of them, any one of them. Okay, so that is why they are called monosexual or imperfect flowers. They are called monosexual or imperfect flowers. So now what are the examples? Cucumber, papaya and watermelon. Cucumber, papaya, watermelon. So all these are examples of unisexual flowers. Cucumber flower, papaya flower and watermelon flower. So these are the examples of unisexual flowers. Now it will be more clear to you with the help of this diagram. As you can see, on the left side we are having bisexual flower and on the right side we are having unisexual flower. As you can see with students, that in bisexual flower we are having both male and female reproductive part. On the other hand, in unisexual flower we are having a stigma. Okay, so either we will be having a female reproductive part or the male reproductive part, any one of them. Next topic is pollination. So the process by which pollen grains get transferred from the anthers to the stigma of a flower is called pollination. In this process, the pollen grains will be transferred from anthers of the flower to the stigma of a flower, and that process will be called pollination. And students, pollination is of two kinds. First is self-pollination and the second one is cross-pollination. First is self-pollination and second is cross pollination. Let's study about self-pollination first. So self-pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of the same flower or different flower of the same plant. So in self-pollination, single plant will be there, okay, and the pollen grains from the anther will be transferred either to the stigma of the same flower or different flower, but plant should be the same. It will be more clear with this picture. As you can see, the self-pollination occurs in this picture. We can see anthers. We all know that it produces pollen grains and it will be shifted to stigma. It will be transferred to stigma. It can be of the same flower, okay. Then here the pollen grains on the stigma grows a tiny tube all the way down the style to the ovary, and then the ovary develops into a fruit to protect the seed. So in this way self-pollination occurs. Next is cross-pollination. So cross-pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower of the same species. Okay. In cross-pollination, the pollen grains from the anther of one flower will be transferred to the stigma of another flower of the same species. So by this picture, it will be more clear to you. Now through this picture, it will be more clear to you. We can see self-pollination and we can see cross-pollination also. Okay, so in first type of self-pollination, we can see that the anther is the pollen grains of anther is transferred to the stigma of the same flower. So this is also one type of self-pollination. And another type of self-pollination, we can see that the pollen grains from anther of the flower is transferred to the stigma of the another flower, but plant is same. So this is self-pollination. And when the pollen grains are transferred to the stigma of another flower and the plant is also different, but the species is same, so this is called cross-pollination. And basically cross-pollination occurs in unisexual flower. Okay, whereas self-pollination occurs in bisexual flowers, because bisexual flowers are having both reproductive parts. So self-pollination occurs in bisexual flowers, but if the plant or if the flower is unisexual, then cross-pollination will occur. But although it is not necessary that only unisexual flowers can have cross-pollination, bisexual and unisexual both can have cross-pollination, but self-pollination will occur only in bisexual flower because of both female and male reproductive parts. Okay. So students, pollination can be done with the help of wind. Pollination can be done with the help of wind. So as you can see, and how wind helps in pollination, pollen grains are very small and light. They occur in very large number, we all know. So here in this picture we can see a wind pollinated flower. Here anthers are exposed to the wind so that pollen grains can easily be blown away. Okay, and here stigma are feathery. And why they are feathery? To catch pollen carried on wind. The pollen grains which are carried by wind, they can easily caught by stigma because of their feathery nature. Okay, and here petals are green, small, and as there is no need to attract insect. Why? Because wind will help in pollination. Students, insect also helps in pollination. How? When they go in search of food, they will land upon a flower, and the pollen grains of that flower will stick to their bodies. And when these insects move from one flower to another of the same species should be the same. Okay, so when the insect move from one flower to another of the same species, so the pollen grains get transferred to the stigma of flowers. The pollen grains from they will be transferred to the stigma of flowers, and thereby it will cause pollination. So insect also helps in pollination. Pollination can also occur with the help of water. So water pollinated plants are aquatic. So pollen will float on the water surface until it contacts flower, it will drift. Okay, so water pollination is also there. So we learned that pollination can be done with the help of insects, wind or water. So now the question arises that what is the need for pollination? Why this process is needed so much? So students, pollination result in the production of seeds, and we all know that seeds are very necessary for many plants to reproduce. If pollination will not occur, seeds production will not be there. Then how we are going to have new plants? Because when we will sow the seed, then only the new plant will come, no? So pollination is very necessary for the production of seeds. Okay, it will lead to the production of fruit that we eat, and seed will create more plants. And how seeds can be produced? Seeds can only be produced when pollen is transferred between flowers of the same species. So that is why pollination is needed so much. So students, I hope you might have understood this chapter properly. So let's see what are the new words we found in this chapter. First is sepals. We all know they are green leaf-like structure of a flower. We read about endoecium, the male part of the flower which is having a filament, and anther with pollen grains. Gynoecium, it is the female part of the flower which is having stigma, style and ovary with ovules. Now for homework students, you have to read the chapter thoroughly at home and learn new words of the chapter, and try to do exercises in your textbook. As you now have understood the whole chapter, so please try to do exercises in your textbook. So that's all for now students. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.